Hi there. Welcome to the Right Here, Right Now live show. This show has one simple question. What's on your heart and mind right here, right now in this moment? We explore the depths and breadths of our humanity through that one simple question over the course of 30 to 45 minutes. I hope that you'll join us. I hope you'll enjoy the exploration. And this tune was created for me personally by the incredible Peter Griffiths, one half of the amazing Mind Takeaway. Do let us know what you think. Let us know what you take away. And of course, we always welcome challenges too. Hope to see you on the exploration. Hello, and good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. It is now 3 p.m. UK over here in the UK, and I'm really excited to be bringing you today's Right Here, Right Now live show with a just incredible, energetic ball of fire in an amazing human called Abuchi. But I will bring him on very, very, very shortly. Just very quickly before we dive in today. Just wanted to make you aware, if you are not already, that there is an event coming up across the 20th and the 21st of July, 2022. It's our second ever human development space, an in-person gathering. I know we all have different feelings about in-person gatherings these days after the last couple of years, but we ran this last September and it was an incredible experience. 13 open-hearted, open-minded human beings just using the space in a co-created format, no agenda, no sage on the stage. And it takes place across the 20th and the 21st of July, co-facilitated by my good friend, Joe Homstead and myself. So if you're interested, do pop in the human development space into an Eventbrite link on a device near you, and it would be wonderful to have you along. So without further ado, let's bring the energy ball that is Obi Abuchi onto the stage. How are you, my friend?
I'm great, thank you. I'm sitting down, so I have more energy when I'm standing up, but I'm sure we'll still have a great combo. So, hey, Gary, good to see you.
That's great to see you again. It's been a while since we first met at Yetunde's amazing event, which I know you spoke at as well, an Enjoyable Life series. What's happened for you the last 6 months since we saw each other?
Oh, wow. It's first of all, just hearing you say 6 months feels crazy. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's as you get older, each month it just whizzes by. And so it's just unbelievable. But lots of exciting things have happened since then. Some great things, partnering, collaborating with a number of people. We launched our Personal Mastery Academy at the start of this year, which is very exciting, and got a cohort currently going through that. And the Personal Mastery Academy is really a space for seasoned and emerging leaders to get coaching, training that goes deep into mastering self and understanding self and growing from the inside out. So dealing with beliefs and values and mindset. And so yeah, that's been really, really exciting getting that off the ground. So yeah, it's one of the main things that's happened. And then lots of other personal things in life, and kids are growing and all sorts of things happening.
Oh, I love that. Well, congratulations on that. And I just want to, before we get into the main question of the day, I just really want to hold space for anyone that's watching us live or maybe watches this back, Obi. Like, that is not a space, right, that we've been educated, is it, the last 100 years to start with, right? Inner work, beliefs,
Sure.
narratives, like
Yeah,
that's not been the traditional way to learn.
No, it hasn't. And I feel grateful in a way, though, because part of my entry into the world of leadership development and growth was a mentor of mine giving me a copy of Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And even though I wasn't thinking about leadership at the time, it did something wonderful for me, because it got me to start thinking about growth and development from the inside out, rather than, hey, just acquiring these skills, but what's going on inside? What are your beliefs? What is that mindset that is helping you show up as best as you can? And whilst that's not been, typical, it's so easy to focus on the externals. I'm grateful for that initiative for me that just got me thinking along those lines. And there have been up and downs, of course, but yeah, I'm grateful for that.
Amazing. So look, tell us this Friday afternoon, Obi, what is on your heart and mind right here, right now, in this particular moment? I'm really intrigued.
Sure. Oh, wow. What's interesting about that question, and I will tell you because there is something, but what's interesting about that question is you can't prepare for it, can you? It's because you think, oh, hey, I'm going to come on and probably talk about this. And yet what's on my heart and mind, and it's right now, and it's been for a few days now, is just the power of our words. That the power of the words that we speak. And I mean, I've always been a reader. I've loved books and the ideas that they shape in us. Love watching. People love listening to podcasts. We love watching movies, and I'm really both intrigued and sobered by the power of words. And when I say power of words, the power of words to inspire, power of words to encourage, power of words to make people laugh, power of words also to cut people down, and the power of words to crush someone, or think of just a simple statement, right? A president, a prime minister, a dictator, whatever, saying, we're going to war. Just a few words, but the impact of that. And so that's something that's on my mind and heart right now, just the power of our words and the importance, therefore, of being able to take our words seriously. And how can more and more of us speak words that give life, that build up, rather than tear down. So that's what's on my mind right now. I wasn't expecting it to be on my mind for our show, but that is what's on my mind. That is what's on my mind.
And thank you for sharing. I've just got a real reaction actually as you shared that, because I love the acknowledgement of I know what question's coming. I can have some idea what I'm thinking about, and it's still going to sideline me because it's like that in the moment. But it's what you said, right? The power of words, right? I asked you a question ending with "in this moment" very intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love the way that you it just centers you, right? Which is fascinating.
Yeah, indeed. It really does. Yeah, it really does.
It's and the other thing I think is amazing about that example you just shared, Obi, for me is I to put it in the I form in terms of Gary. It's only been the last couple of years, honestly, Obi, that I've even thought about consciously what I say or how I say it or what I'm delivering.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just wondering for you, what is it? I'm curious what might be. What is it in this moment that really that's sort of coming up for you? Is it the work that you're doing? Is it a cohort you're working with? Is it what's sort of spinning around in Obi's world?
Yeah. So that's bringing it up. So just in order to answer that question, I want to kind of paint the picture even more. Think of some of the famous speeches over time, right? The Martin Luther King, I have a dream speech, right? The power of words to bring people together, to unite. In the last 18 months to 20 months, not only have we had the COVID, the pandemic and the impact around the world, we've also had BLM and words that people say about another person, right? It's you're black, you're this, you're that, all of the derogatory or more derogatory equivalents of that. It's a word, and that word crushes. And I've also been thinking about, the reason this has been on my mind is the power of words to create, and affirmations, and what are some of the words that are coming out of my mouth? What are some of the words coming out of the mouths of people that I'm working with, that I'm coaching, the leaders? And it's, I mean, I have talked a lot over the years about our thoughts and beliefs, but recently, what I haven't done as much is talked about how does that translate into the words that are coming out of my mouth, and what are the implications of that and the impact of that. Because I mean, one of the things that I often talk about is, your beliefs, your thoughts, they drive what you do and how you show up and how you interact with people. But just the spotlight on the words, what's the level of optimism that I'm showing? How am I encouraging people with my words? What are some of the things that I'm saying as I navigate some new spaces in business and growing my team? And do I simply say, hey, this is difficult, this is challenging, but hey, we'll get through it? Or do I cut myself down? So here's something, actually, just I was having a conversation with someone recently about the words that we say to ourselves. So not just the words we say to other people, but the words that we say to ourselves. And I was speaking at an event in Coventry recently, and afterwards got some great feedback. It was encouraging. However, I noticed myself as I was leaving the building, heading towards the station, I noticed myself get into critical mode and say, okay, so what could you have done better? So those are some words I was saying to myself. Mm-hmm. And I had to stop myself in the moment and say, no, hey, hold on a second, Obi. Let's not get into critical mode here. Let's celebrate this. Let's celebrate the impact that this has had. Let's celebrate the impact you've just had on these 40 leaders. And let's go there first rather than criticize. And I've been doing a lot of study on the impact of our words on our own emotions and our own energy, and even at a neuroscience level on the hormones within our body. So when you're saying to yourself, hey, you're terrible, you're an idiot, you're not good, you're suddenly lowering some of those positive hormones in your body instead of increasing it. So that's for some reason, it's just really put a spotlight on that recently, about the words we say to others, but also the words that we say to ourselves.
It's so interesting. What's coming up for me, and I love this thing about the energy piece, right? Because like words have energy, don't they? Right? Mm-hmm. They're not just spoken. There's an energy that goes with them. Like there's an intention. Absolutely. There's a frequency somehow.
Yeah. And I can't even pretend to know it all, but that's why. And this feels so new for me, which is why I thought I was, not even prepared to talk about it, in the sense that I feel like there are other spaces that I've mastered this. I know all about this, but at the moment, as I say, the big thing for me is just the power of the words and the energy that they bring. So I use the example of someone saying, we're going to go to war, right? And all of what that means. And just imagine the sense of worry and the anxiety that those couple of words will bring about on a nation. But then flip that, and the words of, hey, we're going to grow, we're going to invest in the younger generation, we're going to provide a service that is going to make it, like just those words. And yes, there's action that goes around it, but those words bring energy. And I'm just thinking the more we can, and I think even for myself, just the more I just speak life into the situations that I'm in. And you and I were in a space where we do a lot of work with people in particular. And I'm just thinking about the words that I use when I'm speaking to people. And so here's something I guess that's going on for me is there's the conscious competence model. So where we start off unconsciously incompetent, and then we're consciously incompetent, and then we're consciously competent, and then unconsciously competent. And there's a fifth level for mastery, which is about conscious excellence. And I guess I'm just thinking very often I prepare and I'm at an event and speaking and delivering, but there's a part of my mind that is becoming conscious now and wants to be even more conscious about the energy of the words and what I'm inspiring in people's minds, what I'm almost an intentionality that when I'm with people, just a desire to say, I really want to serve you as best as I can right now. And I really want to help you grow and help lift our level of aspiration or impact or optimism, whatever it is, and just recognizing that in that moment, the biggest, one of the most powerful tools that I've got is the words that I'm using that are speaking life into someone.
Yes, man. Honestly, I'm literally, my whole face is beaming. Like, two reasons. One, what you're sharing. Like, I'm going to play back to you the number of times you've used the word life in this last 15 minutes. No, really. Like it's interesting, right? Because what are we? We're life forces, right? Regardless of the color of our skin, regardless of where we live in the world, we are equally thrivable energy sources, right? Before any of the stuff, before anything else, right? We are all basically a ball of energy, right? When we come into this earth, like, and I just love this. I love this idea that we're remembering, right? It's almost like, for me, what you're describing is the more we realize the power of our words, the more potentiality there is to breathe life and speak life into being, right? Because all we've got really at the moment, I feel, is a lot, and I'm speaking about when I look at business in particular and big system stuff, we've just got a lot of scared kids. We've got a load of 4-year-olds running around going, shit, I don't know who I am. I'm terrified, so I'm going to dominate them, and I'm going to steal off them, and I'm going to appropriate off of them, because I don't know who and what I am. Whereas if they actually realized that before all of that, there is this abundant energy of potentiality, and we can speak change into the world. I really believe that. And you're totally like, just got me. I didn't know I was going to say this stuff today. But I really feel it. I really feel that. We can speak change into the world, right?
And that's, if we think back to the, What's Your Story, the Enjoyable Life series and the conference that we were at, the energy from that came from the willingness to share stories. So all of the speakers to share stories at a heart level, at a personal level, and intentionally to inspire, to encourage, and though we may not have used these words at the time, to speak life into, to say, to see people, to encourage, to say, hey, it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to be purposeful. There is a greater impact that you can have, and don't feel that your past holds you back. If anything, your past equips you to make a difference. So all of these are words, right? And people thought about them and to a degree prepared, and yet it's just the power of words to inspire. And what does this mean? Because we could go on talking about it, but what you said, and even I didn't realize I was saying that to that degree, but just life. I think ultimately I feel like our words do two things. They either speak life or or they speak death into situations, as in they tear people down, or they put people down, or they limit people's effectiveness, or they limit their impact. And so, and what I want to do more for myself, but also just encourage, especially because I work with the leadership population, is just be conscious of that. Be conscious of the fact that your words either speak life or death. And I know it's like, oh, wow, what do you mean? Like, I'm killing people with my words? Like, yes, because if you're saying, I was delivering a session yesterday, and we were talking about how sometimes leaders shut ideas down and say, oh, that's never going to work, right? That is never going to work. 6 words. The impact of that on an individual who's worked hard to say, hey, I'm going to put this presentation together, I'm going to share this idea, I'm going to be courageous. 6 words have just shut them down from, oh, wow, that's never going to work. Whew, that's just taken life. And so just thinking, actually, how do I give life to that? How do I say, wow, that's really, I mean, obviously in an authentic way, but wow, that's really interesting. Thanks for putting the effort into that. Let's explore that, right? It takes a few more words, and yet that breathes life. That's, hey, I've been seen, I've been validated, I've been encouraged, I want to give more. And so yeah, I'm just really both, I feel like it's this power that is at our disposal, and yet it's just a little thing. It's just our tongue. It's just our tongue, and yet that tongue can do incredible damage or be a force for good. And I just want it to be, in my own life, be a force for good, and I want to encourage it to be a force for good in the lives of others as well.
Well, I've got to pop up someone on the screen now who I think shares some incredible words most days on LinkedIn. The David McQueen.
Yes.
The David McQueen. And look at just look at that as an example, though. Really, what generous, caring words.
Absolutely.
That is a great example of breathing life into our conversation. Yes. And thank you, David.
Indeed. Thanks, David.
and I just think that's a really beautiful example of that, right? It's not like a rah, 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 let me just do it to be kind. It's like, actually, and I think for me with words, and you've really brought something, like, I've not really gone this sort of place actually in this conversation, which is why I love Obi so much, because he just brings a different energy. There is just something very generative, right, about being intentional with your words. If you are actively thinking to give life through your dialogue, through your interactions, through your energy, that can only multiply and add to the other people that are trying to do the same, right? There's an exponential impact of doing that, right? It's not reductive. It's a fully exponential, like 10x, 100x, million X type energy that's available to us, right?
Absolutely. So one of the questions that over the years of the leadership development training that I've done is we will often ask people to think about a leader that they've worked with, or a manager that they've really enjoyed, and what's that experience like, or a manager who they haven't enjoyed working with. And very often it comes down to, I remember a conversation we had, and when they said this, and how that or cut me down, or I remember another conversation that we had, and when they said this, and just that level of belief. And I remember there's one I had, this, I wasn't even working at the time, but I remember an experience with a leader. We were outside, I think, Charing Cross Hospital, and there's been some other leaders I'd been interacting with that just hadn't been helpful. They'd said some really terrible things that I wouldn't even want to repeat on air. And yet this one, I remember this interaction, and I remember his belief and his encouragement. It was a few words. It wasn't this long dialogue. It was just a few words. I remember that encouragement till this day. And so just our words are a gift. And, sometimes we talk about feedback, right? Giving people feedback. And this is more than that. This is just in all of the ongoing interactions that I'm having with people, whether that's a annual general meeting and we're given a report on the company. It's just still, even with the words, am I breathing life into our organization? Am I breathing life into our team? Am I breathing life into individuals? When we're writing on LinkedIn blogs, all of that. Are we breathing life into the world? Yeah.
It's really cool. You've got me thinking about an example, Obi, actually, and it's one that comes up very viscerally, with real visceral feeling in my body. And it was several years ago. I had a previous line manager, and I was doing a lot of work around learning and development. I'm in sales, as you know, my full-time job, but I do a lot around people and culture, doing a lot of really good work. And I remember so crystal clear this person turning around and saying, "You do realize I'm letting you play, Gary, at learning and development."
Wow.
Yeah, there's your reaction. My reaction, and it was like that was literally like the control mechanism, right? And I think this is also an important thing for me, is that is the impact of words, right? It can shut down or bring life, but it's also damn oppressive as well. Like that was an oppressive comment to keep me in a certain place through those few words, right? So how many was that? Like, I'm letting you play at learning and development. 8 words designed intentionally to keep you in a certain place. And I look like I look, right? So, I just then look at that. So again, breathing positive, like I just love this conversation because it's making me think more about those examples than the other positive examples of simple one, right? I love you. Right? 3 words.
Yeah, 3 words.
3 of the most powerful words you can ever hear or feel.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate you. I respect you. I value you. I need you. I'm encouraged by you. Absolutely. It's amazing. And it again, just, you the example you gave and you talked about it being oppressive. That's something that I've been thinking about as well, just how people use words to oppress. And a lot of the work that, because the other thing that I've been thinking about with all of this is, where do our words come from and what's going on the inside? What's going on in our heart that drives those words? And this is about consciousness as well, right? We don't. It's not like we sit here thinking, okay, what am I about to say? Oh, I need to say, what am I about to say? No, it just comes out. So, but where is it coming from, and what's going on for us? And that's why, especially with the work I do with the leaders, just getting people to think, how do we clean the inside? How do we make sure that we're as healthy as we can be, that our own mindset, that our desires and intentions for people are the best, that we can celebrate others, for example. So when you've got an abundance mindset, and I like to talk a lot about this, when you've got an abundance mindset, it's easy to celebrate other people because you don't think the pie is infinite. You think, oh, well, that's amazing. They're doing great work. That can inspire me to do great work. But if you've got a scarcity mindset, then you talked about us being kids in the playground, right? You're like, oh, no, but it's my empire. I want to do better. And there isn't enough to go around. And so I think that's one of the things just that helps with our words, just working on our mindset, being aware of our mindset for one, and then working on it, and just understanding actually what are some of the beliefs that I have that are driving the way that I look at people. Why do I think I need to put Gary down in order to feel great about myself? Like, what is going on there? What stops me from actually building Gary up and realizing that, I can build Gary up and build everyone else up, and we all grow, like we all benefit from that. It's not a zero-sum game in a sense. So yeah, I think there's also that work that people need to do. Just do the work to really be as healthy in your mind, in your heart, in your soul, so that your words are nourishing and life-giving for those around you. And it, as we've talked about already, it has this knock-on effect. You encourage someone, what are they going to do when they're with their family, with their friends? I mean, they'll pass on that love directly or indirectly. So,
God, man, honestly, my whole upper head's having a reaction, as it always does when I speak with Obi. This is going to blow your mind. That's half an hour already. And this is also the thing, right? Because when you're worried about the clock, again, what we see in very traditional environments, right? Like I've only got so much time. Again, scarcity, right? Don't get me wrong. We've got to live. We've got clocks. We've got lives. We've got to look after kids and things. But when you create the space, as we've both done for one another, and I hope that you're experiencing it as well, if you're watching this live or watching it back, it literally, time does expand. People talk about it does, right? It's an energy. It's just an energy, right? It does. I don't feel like at a time level we've been together for 30 minutes chatting.
No, not at all.
It's just
not at all.
And all we've been doing is exchanging words from a place of curiosity, of exploration, of non-judgment. And I just think that's, for me, those words as well, Obi, explore, non-judgment, curiosity are very different to wrong, get away, shut up. Like, just the energy is just very different, isn't it?
It is. Wow. That's, first of all, amazing how quickly it's gone, and just the energy of words. I was listening to a friend the other day I've forgotten the detail of what she was talking about, but she already said, just saying those words just makes me feel low and heavy. And so that's an example, right, of how words can give energy to a situation and take energy away from a situation. That's another way to think about it. Just, am I giving energy or am I taking away energy from this situation? But yeah, it's been wonderful to chat about this.
It's blown
to explore
it. And it's blown my mind in a really good way. Like, not blown it up as in it's not there anymore. I'm very happily blown up. But I'd love for you to just leave a little bit as we depart into our weekends, Obi. Beautiful. Thank you again for bringing your vulnerability and your open-heartedness to this conversation. It really has been beautiful. I'd love, you just want to just leave anyone that might still be with us a little bit more. Also, I've got the website on there, coreleadersoneword.co.uk. Anything else you want to share about what you're up to or at this time?
Well, so our strapline for Core Leaders International is personal mastery, transform lives, and a better world. And as I think about the conversation we've had about words, it's when I can be at my best, when I can speak life even into myself, I begin to transform the way that I show up, and that transforms the lives of people around me. And ultimately, we do create a better world. And so I want to, just encourage everyone that's either listened to this live or will listen to this, speak life into yourself too, because you are inadvertently making our world a better place by doing that. And let's commit to speaking words that give people energy rather than take it away. So, yeah.
If I had a big mic, I'd do that and I'd just drop it on the floor, because I think that'd be the perfect way to wrap it up. But I just want to say and share a few words. And honestly, I greatly appreciate how you show up, Obi. I greatly appreciate the words you've shared today, and you've given me a nice alternative weekend of reflection, because I was not expecting where we went. As we never do. So take care, my friends.
Thanks for having me on. Thanks.
You've been awesome.
Great to be with you.
Take care, everyone. And again, do check out coreleadersoneword.co.uk with Obi. And if you want to check out my website, it's hexochangenow.com. And again, feel free to come and join us in July if you feel it moved. So take care, mate. Cheers, Obi. Cheers, everyone.